Great. Hello, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us for our September 14th regular board meeting of the URA Board of Directors. Our first item of business today will be roll call. I would like the record reflect that all members are present and accounted for. And with that, we will move into approval of the August 10th, 2023 URA board meeting minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? The minutes are approved. Also, please note that the URA board met an executive session last Friday for purposes of briefing for today's meeting. It was informational only. And then immediately before this meeting, our regular executive session to discuss legal and personnel matters. Our next item of business is public comment, and I'll be turning it over to Kayla Williams for this.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have 2 written comments that I will be reading and 5 live comments. I'm going to start off with the written comments. This was submitted by Todd Caller regarding own PGH. My husband and I listed our home at 23 Watson Boulevard on July 16th, 2023. Our house was on the market for less than 3 days before we accepted an offer from a family participating in the URA's own PGH program. Initially, we were thrown off by the extended closing, but in the end, we made peace with the 60-day closing, even though it meant putting our own move on hold. Imagine our horror when we discovered less than a week before the proposed closing date that because of an oversight by the URA's approved lenders, our buyers would now need an additional 45 to 60 days to close because their completed application was never submitted. My family has agonized for over a week now trying to figure out what to do, balancing what is best for our family and our needs with our sympathies for the family trying to buy our home through your program. The reality is we cannot wait another 45 to 60 days for the URA to get us over the finish line, given what we've already been through, especially considering that we still don't even know if the buyer is approved for the funds she needs. We want to wait, but waiting means that we will have to pay 2 mortgage payments and utilities on a house we are no longer living in, and we run the risk of the buyer getting denied still. We also don't know what to expect from the additional inspection that is required. We're in no position to make any repairs now. We are mindful that our inability to hang on for 2 more months while the URA processes its application will impact the family just like our own. Their disappointment keeps us up at night. It pains us deeply, but we have been left with no choice. The URA and its partners have put both our families in this awful position. Their collective failures and oversights affect so many people, not just the potential buyers you ultimately let down. The second written comment was submitted by Jordan Schoenberg regarding agenda item 6B, Avenues of Hope. I would like to encourage the board of the URA, along with the staff, to continue to push for an adjustment for the Avenues of Hope funding to include interior improvements for nonprofit-owned buildings. Interior and exterior improvements are permitted for for-profit businesses, and the same allowances should be given to those businesses with nonprofit status. I would like to share my application to the appreciation to the URA for their advocacy in this area as we all work together to create more opportunities to support our Avenues of Hope. The first live comment we have is Mr. Raymond Moore. If you're here, Mr. Moore, can you let us know? Okay, it doesn't seem like he's joined yet. Our second live comment is Rainice Kelly.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
Yes, hi, Rainice. You have
Hello.
3 minutes to make your comment. I will alert you when you have about 30 seconds left, and you can start now.
Okay, thank you.
to the members of the board for offering this opportunity to speak to the vacant lots on Belser Avenue. The past 3 years, my sister and I have operated a seedling business growing garden vegetable plants that focuses on food production. We've hosted free garden supply giveaways and youth summer camps in the neighborhood. And recently, Leadership Pittsburgh completed a survey in the area and identified food access is impacting our community and is a priority to us all, alongside with the efforts and engagement made by Just Harvest to increase the fresh food access. A series of meetings hosted by Hilltop Alliance were scheduled and centered around discussions of the Food Justice Fund. Joined by residents and other organization leaders, a picture was painted with possibilities of how everyone there in the community and surrounding areas can access food. By utilizing the 4 vacant lots on Belser Avenue as an urban farm, there can be access to producing food that can qualify for SNAP benefits and can be purchased at an on-site farm market, community plots for members to grow their own food, a pavilion for educational workshops and events, greenhouse for seasonal production. These lots are just across the alleyway from my storefront, but only blocks away from my home. I see this project as a community vision that I am honored to see and spend my full time to make possible. Thank you. And I want to close it up by honoring your time. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rainey. Next, we have Ed Newser.
Hi, thanks everyone for your time today. I'm just here quickly to have a quick comment to make in support of the board action today to see properties transfer from the URA to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. So at City of Bridges Community Land Trust, we see the land bank as a critical tool and critical partner for our city to recycle property and advance the cause of affordable housing throughout our city. The parcel that City of Bridges is working to ultimately acquire from the land bank that's on the agenda today will create 4 permanently affordable homes in Hazelwood on one parcel through a quadplex building. This will allow us to create the first homes in our portfolio that will be fully ADA accessible and allow us to pilot a new moderate density strategy for the creation of permanently affordable homes rather than creating single family housing. This will be one parcel that will create a quadplex and create homes for 4 families. And hopefully what can be a replicable and more efficient way to construct affordable housing. We just want to close by thanking the URA and the land bank for taking the step today to begin this process to move land recycling forward throughout our city.
Thank you, Mr. Newser. Our next live comment is from Tom Mulholland.
Thank you. And thanks for your time today.
You have 3 minutes to make your comment. I will alert you when you have 30 seconds left, and you can go ahead and start.
Excellent, thank you. I'm here to represent Allegheny Land Trust and comment on agenda item 6A regarding the authorization for the conveyance of properties in Garfield and Perry South from the URA to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. Allegheny Land Trust is a nationally accredited land conservation nonprofit. We've protected thousands of acres of green space across Allegheny County since '93. In recent years, Allegheny Land Trust has made it a strategic focus to help Pittsburghers preserve community green spaces like community gardens, pocket parks, and urban forests for future generations. These cared for green spaces help balance the heating effects of buildings and asphalt. They allow for rainwater infiltration, reducing the load on the city's water management systems. Community gardens provide opportunities to gather, they produce healthy food, and they boost property values for neighbors, just to name a few of their benefits. Allegheny Land Trust has applied to the Pittsburgh Land Bank for the purchase of properties in Garfield and in Perry South. In both cases, these applications are to acquire and conserve important green space that is actively used, intended by our community partners, and each has a long history of community involvement. The Hillcrest Green is a community green space on the former Hillcrest Urban Farm in Garfield on Rosetta and Hillcrest Street. We are working with Bloomfield Garfield Corporation to ensure that the site will be open for public use as a place for passive recreation and enjoyment of nature, gardening, and as an outdoor classroom. These uses are all in keeping with the community green zone plan there. Allegheny Land Trust has already protected 10 of the 18 parcels that make up Hillcrest Green, and we are asking for Pittsburgh Land Bank and URA's support to help us protect the remaining parcels. Second, Ballfield Farm is an existing community farm that has been tended by community members for the past 16 years in Perry South. In 2018, volunteers from the farm applied to the Garden Protection Program that we run in partnership with Grow Pittsburgh. Since that time, around 5 years ago, we have been working with the city and URA staff to protect this important community asset. Our goal in making these applications is to conserve the Hillcrest Green and Ballfield Farm, to permanently protect the land, and to work with community partners to steward and restore the land and ensure that this land will provide cultural and environmental benefits for future generations. We are thrilled that the Pittsburgh Land Bank is
You have
now at a
about 30
place where it can
seconds
help
left,
us.
Mr. Mulholland.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, so we are thrilled that the land bank is now at a place where it can help us move forward with this goal. The URA disposition process has been in some ways outsized for the scale of these conservation projects, and we are grateful to have an alternative path forward to advance the conservation of these important community green space projects. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and for your attention and consideration. That's all.
Thank you. Our last public comment is Danielle Graham Robinson.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You have about 3 minutes for your public comment. I will alert you when you have 30 seconds left. You can go ahead and start.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle. I am a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway. Full disclosure, I also work for Representative Emily Kincaid, and I'm also on the board with the PHDC. In my primary role as a realtor, I have mostly focused my business on helping first-time low to moderate income home buyers for the last 6 years. And I currently have clients that are in the OWN PGH program. I recently closed a deal in August for a property in Carrick. The buyer received $90,000 towards her purchase, and it has been a life-changing opportunity for her. I will say that I have also experienced some major frustrations with the funding and the overall rollout of the program, and just want to share some of those frustrations and suggestions. The first being that for every person, I'm kind of doing some rough math here, but for every person that I've had get approved for either down payment closing cost assistance or OWN Pittsburgh, I have about 17 offers denied per client. So I am really trying to get help to make some of the processes better so that clients that are utilizing these programs can actually compete in the real estate market, because as of right now, they cannot. And in the instances where they do have offers that are accepted, we are seeing, well, first, I was asked to make sure that the contract would be request a 60-day close. All of my transactions have been delayed, every single one. I have a client right now who is purchasing 818 Shawnee, which is a PHDC home. We are currently, I think, in the 85-day mark, and she will not be closing until around the 90-day mark of our transaction being on hold. We have been getting so much mixed messages of what is needed from her, from an ethics review because she works for Alcasan. I mean, it is, I can't stress enough the frustration.
You have 30 seconds left, Ms. Robinson.
Okay, so I'm going to have to email the rest because there's absolutely no way to squeeze everything in 30 seconds. But Todd Caller is my client. He's the seller for the buyer. The buyer isn't even my client. They're going to be homeless tomorrow because of the inadequacies of one of the partners. This is not an exaggeration. They have already been told by their landlord that they have to leave their apartment. They have nowhere to go. So I'm hoping that when I send the rest of what I wanted to say here, that you guys can take a look at it, and hopefully we can work towards a goal together to prevent this from happening in the future.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Ms. Robinson, just to make sure, do you have contact for a staff member to send that to? And then we can make sure they share it with the board as well.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I just want to make sure that you had an email address to send the rest of your comments to, and so that staff member is able to share it with the board. That's all.
I'm not sure who the best person would be to email about that.
Danielle, you can send that to me. This is Sushil.
Okay.
We met at Shawnee Street.
Yep, I have your
Okay.
contact
Okay.
info.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Director. Before we move on from public comment, I know there were a couple folks that were registered as well. I don't know if Mr. Moore's joined. And then I saw that Pastor Love was also listed as a registered speaker if he's on.
Yes, I'm on. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Pastor Love. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
let
thank-
Kayla give you the spiel.
Sorry. You have 3 minutes, Pastor Love, to make your comment. I will alert you when you have about 30 seconds left.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank the board for this opportunity to speak with you. My comments will center around the Avenue of Hope in Hazelwood, and hopefully, I'd like to just make sure that we are working cooperative with everyone, but there's some things that we have questions about that we would like just to bring up and hopefully help in the process. One is the rubric that's used to determine what projects are approved and which ones are denied. And I believe that we'd like to know what rubric is being used, have an opportunity to review that. We also like to know if projects that are not in Hazelwood, physically in Hazelwood, can they be funded? Even though they're not physically located in Hazelwood or the Avenue Hook program as a whole. The other thing that we would like to say is that we are very appreciable of the support that we've been receiving from the URA overall. We are also appreciable of the support we have received for our Equity One-Stop Shop, initially from the board and from the Avenue of Hope. We'll like to continue working in cooperation with the committee. One thing we found that though we would like to say that all committee members and people from the community receive a copy of every project that's being submitted for funding and denied. There doesn't have to be anything about the personal financial background of anybody, but just the name of the every project that's submitted, and whether they was denied or whether they were funded. We think that would be helpful as we move forward. And any criteria that can be provided by the Avenue of Hope team, that when someone is denied, if they can list why they are being denied, so that would be helpful in preparing for the next round of funding. Other than that, we'd like to encourage the Hazelwood Avenue of Hope team to continue to work open, honest, and transparent as we find they have been. And I'd like to thank the
You have
board.
30 seconds left, Pastor Love.
Thank you. And thank the board of URA for supporting the greater Hazelwood community overall. Thank you and God bless everyone.
Thank you. I believe Mr. Raymond Moore has joined us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we can.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
3 minutes to make your comment, and I will alert you when you have 30 seconds left.
Okay. My name is Raymond Moore. I'm the Education Outreach Coordinator of the Fair Housing Partnership of Greater Pittsburgh. I have 2 comments. One regarding URA's pursuit of an affordable housing bond. The city's 5-year forecast with an operating budget Sorry about that. Operating budget has 2.5 million for the bonds debt service and an increase to the housing opportunity fund to 12.5 million. Beginning in 2026, we ask that the URA prioritizes that bond, allocates 2.5 million to the HOF per year for 2024 and 2025 for a total of 5 million, with the expectation that the city will take over the funding level in 2026. Regarding 5B, the standard on Fifth, we greatly appreciate that the development includes 11 3-bedroom units and that all those units are affordable in some way. As you all know, Pittsburgh severely needs family-size affordable housing units. Additionally, we commend that 2 of the 3-bedroom units will meet the uniform federal accessibility standards, which are physical accessibility features in recognition that people with disabilities have families as well. We do add that regarding the units for sensory disabilities, features such as strobe light alarms or an intercom at the unit's door in lieu of a peephole, that the technologies used are embedded into the entire building to allow for the accessibility options to be easily installed in any unit upon request. Similar to how reinforcing the bathroom walls in all units, that grab bars can be installed upon request. Thank you all for listening and for your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I believe that concludes our public comment.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. We're moving into announcements. The first announcement we have is related to the low-income housing tax credit pre-application, and I will turn things over to Ben Payton.
Hi, good afternoon, board members and public. My name is Ben Payton. I am the manager of the residential lending department here at the URA. So I'm here to talk about the low-income housing tax credit pre-application. Our pre-application is opening tomorrow, Friday, September 15th. This year's application is going to be available entirely online, so you'll be able to access it through a link on our website. The tax credit program here in the state of Pennsylvania is highly competitive, and this year's window is also opening tomorrow. So we are making our application available to developers and public starting tomorrow, the 15th. We're going to use the application as a way to understand the size, scope, and financial commitment that's going to be needed through the URA to invest in these projects that will be applying to PHFA for tax credits. So the application will be familiar to developers who have used it in the past, but it will be entirely online this year. You're going to be able to access all the questions online, input all the information through that, and also upload necessary documents through the form that we've set up as well. This year's application is a little different in the sense that PHFA is asking for developers to apply for 9% credits and 4% credits at the same time. So this impacts the how the window of time that the form and application will be open. So for 9% deals, we're asking for developers to apply starting tomorrow through Monday, October 16th. And then deals that will be applying for 4% credits, the window will be left open longer. I think we're estimating probably into November as well, because PHFA is allowing 4% deals to apply. Their window is a little bit longer for PHFA as well. So that's what I'm here for. Just letting everyone know that the application is open starting tomorrow. And if anyone has any questions, after this board meeting, feel free to reach out to me and I can help answer them. But that's it.
Thanks, Ben. Just to clarify the last point you were speaking to related to PHFA as their QAP open for the 9% credit and the 4% credit. We're also doing the pre-application for both 9s and 4s, or only the 9% credit? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's for both. So there's when developers or anyone goes to access the pre-application, you'll be asked whether your project is for 9% or 4%. And in the rare instance where your project is both, there's also an option for that.
Any other questions or comments from board members? Okay. I know the authority's been doing this for a few years now, so appreciate that we're
Yeah.
expanding it and advancing it to
Yeah.
have it be online. So yeah, thanks a lot for your work on this.
Thanks.
Next, our announcement is related to outdoor dining grant, application round 2. And joining us for this will be Jamie Piotrowski.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry that I can't turn my video on for some reason. I apologize. It's not working. But so I am here to announce our second round. Oh, here we go. Now I can fix it. Sorry, everyone. But I'm happy to announce our second round of the outdoor dining grant is opening tomorrow, September 15th. And this is for nonprofit groups to apply for assistance for outdoor dining for businesses within their districts, so long as the business they plan to assist has been open prior to March 31st of 2020. So there are 3 funding tiers that our nonprofit folks can apply for. So for our first tier, up to $30,000 that will not require a match. Our tier 2 groups, $30,000 to $60,000 requiring a 10% match. And our tier 3 folks would be $60,000 to $90,000 with a 20% match required. For folks within our Avenues of Hope corridors, that match would be reduced by 50%. So our eligible activities, this would be supporting businesses in the district for outdoor dining can occur in a permanent scale, building out infrastructure for outdoor dining along the public right-of-way and on private property, allowing for sub-grants to businesses, again, those open and in operation from prior to March 31st, 2020, and using sidewalk space, permits for street closures, activating parking spaces for outdoor dining, and paying for design and architect fees. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the program.
Thanks, Jamie. I don't know that I have questions on the application round, or the structure, but since we've done this once before, if you could just sort of share, maybe high level with the board and with the public, some of the success, that we saw, or any learnings that, we've experienced.
Absolutely.
In that first go around.
Yeah, absolutely. So last round we awarded 9 groups peppered throughout the city of Pittsburgh. So I know a couple folks have, especially in Oakland, built a lot of outdoor dining structures. And then a lot of our grantees are currently opening their own applications for sub-grants for outdoor dining. So things like cafe and bistro style chairs, lighting, upgrading folks' patios. So those are currently being deployed right now with our sub-grantees. So funds are still being spent out. There have been some supply chain issues still, unfortunately, that is causing a little bit of delay, but I know our groups are very grateful for the funds, and we're really just waiting on some of these supply chain issues, unfortunately. But you can see stuff popping up throughout the city, and it's been really great so far.
Thanks. Any other questions, comments from board members? Well, thank you. I know we'll see you later in the agenda too. So appreciate the announcement and the update. Our last announcement is related to the OMPGH home ownership program and some citywide office hours that staff has planned. Joining us for this will be Alicia Majors.
Good afternoon. My name is Alicia Majors, and I am the home ownership manager for the residential and consumer lending team at the Urban Redevelopment Authority. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share information on OMPGH. The OMPGH program has been a beacon of hope in the pathway to home ownership for those who might have otherwise felt it was out of reach. Through this program, we have already assisted 36 home buyers. Of those, 15 individuals and families have chosen to move from outside the city limits to become proud residents of Pittsburgh, thanks to the opportunities offered by OPGH. I'm thrilled to report that an additional 10 borrowers are scheduled to close this very month. However, while these numbers are certainly commendable, we recognize that there is room for even greater impact. It is in this spirit that we present the implementation of office hours, a program initiative that would not only connect us with the communities we serve, but also allow us to impact valuable, necessary, and honest information about OPGH to the public. This initiative will be in partnership with our local Carnegie libraries. Our aim is simple. We want everyone to have a full and thorough understanding of the OPGH program. We want first-time buyers to know that we are here to support them, guide them through the process, and make homeownership a reality. We want realtors to be well-informed advocates for this program so that they can confidently represent their clients' interests. We want sellers to understand the benefits of selling their homes through OPGH, and we want all the parties involved in the buying and selling of homes within our city limits to be on the same page. Through office hours, we envision a platform where we can interact directly with our community, addressing their questions, concerns, and needs. This initiative will foster open lines of communication, allowing us to forge deeper connections with those we serve. By offering guidance, support, and transparency, we can build trust and encourage more individuals and families to explore the possibilities that OPGH offers. In conclusion, the OPGH program has already made significant strides in empowering our residents with homeownership opportunities. However, to truly maximize the program's potential, we need to ensure that everyone involved, from first-time home buyers to real estate professionals, understand its benefits and mechanisms. Office hours will serve as the bridge that connects us with our community, ensuring we provide them with the information they need to make informed decisions about their future. Again, thank you for the time to share this OPGH update.
Thanks, Alicia. On the slide, it says locations and time will be announced through the URA website and other channels. Do we have a sense of when we'll start announcing those or begin to start holding these?
Well, we will start meeting to develop a schedule of what neighborhoods. We will start those meetings. I think the first one is Monday, so very soon.
Okay. And then I know in the public comment, we had a couple of folks reach out about concerns for particular instances, and then
Yes.
some thoughts kind of more broadly. It sounds like the one may be related to the lending partner. I know we did a call for additional lending partners. I think it was last month or the month before. Just curious how that's coming along for the board's understanding, and if there's anything we can do. So
we will be announcing 5 additional lending partners once we get them through the training process.
Okay.
And the training will begin in October.
Okay. Great. Any other questions or comments from board members? Well, thank you. I'm excited to see us do this outreach, and when it'll start, in the next several, couple weeks here coming up, as well as, obviously, as you said, Alicia, so eloquently, it's providing, important resources for folks. And I know the team, we initially launched this, seeing what we were going to learn, and we've learned a lot. And, as we continue to refine and get feedback to make it better to serve the residents, and I'm sure the office hours will be an opportunity to do that too. So thank you for bringing this, forward, and staff's leadership and your leadership to drive this and reach out more, tactfully to the community. So thanks a lot.
Thank you as well.
moving into our regular agenda, the first item under residential lending and investments will be going to Hazelwood on Flowers Avenue. And joining us for this item will be Victoria Jackson.
Good afternoon. My name is Victoria Jackson, and I am a lending analyst with the Residential Lending and Investments Department here at the URA. Hazelwood Initiative requests construction grant financing at an amount of up to $245,000 to finance the soft costs associated with the new construction of 3 for-sale units to be located on Flowers Avenue in Hazelwood. Each of the single-family homes will be a 2-bedroom and 1.5 bathroom unit. These units will have sales prices of $205,000. While the URA will deed restrict the properties to buyers at or below 80% AMI, Hazelwood Initiative intends to sell 2 of the units to home buyers at or below 60% AMI. These 3 units are being developed in response to the Greater Hazelwood Neighborhood Plan, in which the Hazelwood community calls for development without displacement. The development of affordable housing, particularly infill housing, has been identified as the key strategy to meet this goal. The proposed $245,000 grant will be sourced with Home 2020 and Home 2021 funds. Per home requirements and for sale development program guidelines, each unit will have a 15-year affordability restriction. Regarding additional financing, this project has secured a Federal Home Loan Bank Affordable Housing Program grant and the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency Fair Award. The project also has a commitment for a construction loan from First Commonwealth Bank. So once again, we are requesting authorization to enter into a for-sale development program grant agreement with Hazelwood Initiative in an amount up to $245,000 to finance development activities for the new construction of 3 units on Flowers Avenue. Dave Bruton of Hazelwood Initiative is here today to answer any questions you may have about the project. And with that, I will open the floor for questions.
Thanks, Victoria. Dave, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add to Victoria's presentation.
First of all, thank you, Victoria, for working with us on this to get it to this important day. I honestly think you said everything that needed to be said. I will mention that we had our development advisory meeting just Tuesday night at our board meeting, and the project was well received with literally no objections or concerns expressed. So I think it reflects what the community wants. But if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks, Dave. Any questions or comments for the board members?
I guess I have one question. Why are we only targeting 2-bedroom homes?
Let me correct that. These are 3-bedroom homes, actually. All 3 of them are.
Okay.
Well, they actually, Councilman Lavelle, they're flexible. You can use a back room on the first floor as living space, or you could easily use it as a bedroom as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, I know at least after I took this job last year, this was one of the first ones you reached out about. So, on behalf of Hazelwood Initiative, so it's exciting to see it at this point. I know there's a little bit more to kind of get over clearance, but thank you and the team at Hazelwood Initiative for your commitment to it, Victoria, all the work that you've done, and our team behind the scenes to get here. So it's exciting to see it move forward, and Dave, as you said, well, community being supportive of it, is good to. I'm sorry, I'm getting a chat.
Actually, could I make a comment? Thank you, Kyle, very much.
Go ahead, Dave. Yeah, Councilmember Warwick, I believe, is on as well.
Very quickly, I just want to say that my first dealings with the URA came in about 1982 when I started in the affordable housing world. God willing, I'm going to retire in March. And so this very well may be the last time I come asking for money. But when I look back on what URA and the groups that I've worked for have accomplished, it leaves me with a great deal of pride, and virtually none of it would have happened without financial and technical support from the URA. So this project means a lot to me. I think it's my last one. So thank you very much.
I wasn't sure if you were going to wax poetic here, Dave, or if you were going to speak later, but I'm glad you did it now. I know we had a chance to see each other last night at City in the Streets, but thank you for all the work that you've done over the years in so many neighborhoods across the city, and honored that we're able to entertain this one, which you have a few months left, so hopefully it's not your last one, but if it is,
Yeah, got to get them in the ground before I go.
yeah, we're honored to be able to have it before us today. Councilmember Warwick, I want to leave some space for you as well.
Yeah, hi, sorry, this will be very brief. I just wanted to voice my support for this one as well, and really underscore, the design on these houses is really nice, and also the fact that they are 3-bedroom. That's a big deal in Hazelwood. That's been an issue with a lot of the projects so far. As we want homes that can accommodate families. So just wanted to jump in very quickly and say I'm supportive of this project. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So
moved.
second.
Second.
We'll give the move to Director Powell and the second to Councilman LaBelle. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you all. Congratulations. Our next item on the agenda is in Uptown. It's the Standard on 5th, and Victoria is staying with us for this one.
I am. So hello again, still Victoria, still to my knowledge, working with the residential lending and investments unit. So hello again. Today, I'm also presenting a rental gap program loan request for Beacon Communities and Uptown Partner CDC through their limited liability company, the Standard BC LLC, to finance new construction of Standard on 5th. The Standard on 5th will be a 51-unit apartment complex located uptown in the Bluff neighborhood. Of the 51 units, 40 will be affordable to renters up to 60% AMI, and 17 of those units will be supported by project-based vouchers. Additionally, this development will also provide residents with the opportunity to connect with services to address needs around food insecurity, home ownership, behavioral health, literacy, workforce development. Construction is anticipated to begin December 2023 and be completed in January 2025. The proposed $1,600,000 loan will be sourced with $1 million of HOF rental gap program funds and $600,000 from home funds. The HOF funds were approved by the HOF advisory board during their September board meeting. The loan will have a 40-year term at 0% interest and carry a 40-year affordability period enforced by deed restricting the 40 affordable units. The repayment schedule of the loan will be based on 50% of the annual cash flow. The loan request does exceed the rental gap program project maximum as outlined in the guidelines. As such, we are also requesting a waiver of the guidelines. Regarding other financing sources, the project is awarded a 9% low-income housing tax credit award and the Pennsylvania Housing Tax Credit. The project also has a commitment for permanent financing from the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. Beacon Communities does have applications under review for additional gap financing from the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh through its project-based voucher gap program, as well as through PHFA through its development cost recovery program. Ooh, that's a mouthful, I apologize. Financing decisions from both of these sources are expected in fall 2023. So once again, we are requesting a waiver of the rental gap program guidelines and an authorization to enter into a loan agreement in an amount of up to $1,600,000 loan to finance development activities for the Standard on 5th. Today, we are joined by Jessica Sheldon of Beacon Communities. She is here to comment and to answer any questions this board may have about the project. With that, I will open the floor for questions.
Thanks, Victoria. Jessica, if you have anything you'd like to add to Victoria's presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. for considering the request today. We're very excited about this project. Beacon has been fortunate enough to be able to start construction on affordable housing in Pittsburgh about once per year for the past several years, and excited to make the standard our next start by the end of 2023. It's a great location. There's a lot of market rate housing that has been opened or is in the pipeline in this neighborhood. And so we're glad to add to the mix of housing that's available here. I can turn my camera on. And excited about this building itself being a mixed income property with about 20% of the apartments being market rate, the rest being affordable. So we have rents everywhere down from the lowest rents at about $350 per month up to market rate units that are at $1,500, $1,600 a month. So able to create a really diverse community in this one building. Even those market rate rents we set at a little bit below what top of the market would be, to target those households that might not be eligible for subsidized housing, but or officially affordable housing, but have trouble meeting, the rents that you might find on the market. So we're trying to meet a variety of needs here. Really excited about the green building opportunities here. It's a great transit-oriented location right on the BRT line. And we're also building to passive house standards. So it's going to be incredibly energy efficient, should be very comfortable for the residents and reduce energy bills. And then finally, I'll just talk about some of the community partnerships and outreach we've undertaken here. We are glad to be partnering with Uptown Partners. They are both a partner during this pre-development period, helping us think through the unit mix, the design, how it fits into the community, but they're also a long-term owner in the project with 30% ownership for the life of the project. They're rooted in this neighborhood and glad they can be a partner. And we've also engaged the other RCOs that cover this area. We presented a number of times to the Hill District CDC and have a letter of support from them. Hill District Collaborative as well. The city hosted our development activities meeting earlier this year, which was well attended and positive. And we have approvals following that from Planning Commission for the zoning for the site. So we are excited to wrap up these final funding commitments and get into construction later this year.
Thanks, Jessica. Any questions or comments from board members?
Comment and question. If I'm not mistaken, there are also 3-bedroom units in here.
Yeah, this is a mix 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms.
Thank you. It's just important to note that it can also accommodate families. So great project.
And as the commentator mentioned earlier, there's a number of accessible units here as well.
The accessible units was my question, but just on the project-based vouchers and ensuring that we have some units reserved. I'm assuming you're working with the housing authority as well, just to make sure that you're able to advertise to tenants that this space is available to them. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 17 project-based vouchers here. So those referrals will come directly from the housing authority, but we'll work to partner with the housing authority to get referrals for all of the units, including the LIHTC units that might not have vouchers.
Wonderful, thank you.
I would echo the councilman's comments on the presentation of both Victoria you gave and Jessica in terms of how great a project this is. When you mentioned passive house, so we're leading edge here as it relates to sustainability, your unit mix, having family size units in it, the income mix, Jessica, that you even noted in terms of your approach to the market rate rents, really targeting those that kind of don't fit neatly into anywhere that's being served by traditional low income housing tax credit projects or the market itself, and given the market pressures that or that you referenced that are happening in Uptown, it's great to see you being responsive, and it sounds like that partnership with Uptown Partners really helped to inform that. So thank you for doing that work and entering into that partnership with them. We've talked about it before when the announcements were made. We were lucky as Pittsburgh and successful in securing 6 low-income housing tax credit, awards for the city. This being one of them. So do want to again acknowledge that tremendous feat. I think it's the most in recent memory that we've received in the city. And thank again the state delegation and the team at PHFA, Director Weissman,
Addressing Committee.
everyone who works with her, to be able to make those resources available within the city of Pittsburgh as we continue to work collectively and collaboratively to address our affordable housing shortage within the city. There's no other comments or questions from board members. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
With a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you both. Congratulations, Jessica and Victoria. Again, thank you for your work on moving this one forward. Moving along into development services, our first item is a number of transfers of URA properties to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. Joining us for this will be ML Meyer and Emily Kocek.
Good afternoon and thank you. My name is ML Meyer and I'm the URA's Director of Real Estate. And today we're seeking authorization to convey 17 properties in Crawford Roberts, Allentown, Perry South, Garfield, Hazelwood, and Larimer to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. We're also seeking authorization to issue certificates of completion for these properties to the land bank, so the land bank can convey them to 9 different end users for a total of 10 projects. These are transactions involving small-scale residential developments, side yards, urban agriculture, a playground, a garden, and a garage renovation, where the limited scale and cost can make the URA's disposition process comparatively burdensome. These are the types of neighborhood scale developments that the land bank was designed to support. And we would like to have the land bank manage these dispositions to facilitate the transfer of these publicly owned properties to private owners. After the transfer of these properties is approved by the URA's board of directors, the properties will go through the land bank's disposition process, and they'll be discussed in the land bank's board meeting. And then they will follow the land bank's disposition process, which involves a 30-day period during which interested parties may object. So there'll be much more additional discussion of these development projects when they go through the land bank to the end users. Right now, we're talking about conveying from the URA to the land bank. But we wanted to give a full description of what's planned here so people understand what we're doing. The land bank is committed to offering a streamlined process by which individuals and organizations can purchase publicly owned property while respecting the community's visions and needs. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. This is a parcel on Ledley Street in Crawford Roberts. Amani Christian Community Development Corporation controls other parcels on this block and will use this parcel for the development of an affordable duplex. Next slide, please. This is also in Crawford Roberts. It's 2 adjacent parcels that Brenda Tate, who lives at 1911 Bedford Avenue, would like to purchase as a side yard. Next slide, please. This is also in Crawford Roberts on Webster Avenue. The structure at 1843 Webster Avenue is being demolished, and the land bank plans to offer the vacant site as a side yard to the owners of 1845 Webster Avenue, 204 Hillside Drive, and 212 Hillside Drive, which are the 3 residences that adjoin it. Next slide, please. Here in Allentown, you heard about this from one of the public's commenters earlier in the meeting. We have 4 vacant parcels that Soil Sisters, which operates a plant nursery at 123 Beltsuver Avenue, would like to purchase. They plan to develop a community urban farm food production site here, and the site will involve educational, event space, and job readiness elements. Next slide, please. In Perry South are 3 vacant parcels on Crispin and Trimble Streets. You heard Tom Mulholland of Allegheny Land Trust talk about these earlier. These are known as Ballfield Farm, and Allegheny Land Trust would like to acquire the parcels for continued agricultural use. This is a neighborhood project with members who collectively grow organic food. Next slide, please. Here's another project that Allegheny Land Trust is interested in acquiring properties for. They would like to get the 2 vacant parcels shown here on Hillcrest and Rosetta to include in their Hillcrest Green Urban Conservation Project. This is a 1.5 acre project that they've worked on with community members, Bloomfield Garfield Corporation, the Environmental Charter School, and the URA to plan. The land trust already owns 10 of the 18 total parcels involved in the project. Next slide, please. And here is in Hazelwood, you heard from Ed Nusser about this development. City of Bridges Community Land Trust would like to acquire a vacant parcel on Hazelwood Avenue to include in a larger New Markets tax credit finance transaction that will bring a total of 14 affordable units to Hazelwood and other city neighborhoods. This parcel will be improved with a 4-plex, a quadruplex, a 4-unit condo building. And I'd like to point out, since people have been asking about this, that 2 of them will be 3-bedroom units. Next slide, please. This is also in Hazelwood. It's a vacant lot on Lytle Street. Hazelwood Initiative owns the adjoining parcel and would like to acquire this parcel to expand their existing playground. Next slide, please. Here in Larimer is a vacant parcel on Meadow Street that resident Betty Lane would like to acquire for expansion of her African healing garden. Next slide, please. Finally, also in Larimer is a parcel that has a Winslow Street address, but really fronts on Maxwell Way. There's a garage. You can see in this aerial view, there's a garage located on this parcel, but the garage also is located on the adjoining parcel. That structure is in very bad condition. Red Whitaker controls the parcel next door and would like to renovate the garage. So that concludes the summary of the parcels and projects that are involved in this transfer from the URA to the land bank. And I believe that Council Member Barb Warwick is here with some comments, and maybe also we have Council Member Krause's Chief of Staff, Bob Charland, here as well. I'm not sure if he was able to make it, but I would like to open it up for questions and for comments from the council members.
Yeah, hi. So this is Barb. I just wanted to say that I'm glad to see this moving forward. I think this is really a step in the right direction. I also want to underscore that I really appreciate the clarity with which, we're seeing exactly who these parcels are going to, what they're being used for, so looking at this, and also obviously the particular parcels in my district are, great projects. So yeah, I think this is a great kind of soft beginning to the relationship with the land bank and the kind of new and improved land bank. I know that I've voiced some skepticism in the past, so I'm excited to see how this process moves forward, right? How quickly it moves forward, and I think that this will really give us a good feel of how working with the land bank is going to look in the years to come. So thanks to everybody for putting this together and for making it so clear and precise. ML, I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, I see that you're on as well.
Hey everyone, I'll be very brief here. I want to thank the URA staff and thank the board for allowing me to just speak to how important this land transfer is for the Soil Sisters here, and just how excited I am to see what I hope is the first series of many transfers of vacant land into a much higher and better use. This is exactly what I think all of us were hoping we would see when the land bank got started here. And I just want to reiterate how appreciative I am to see a commitment towards helping a small business like the Soil Sisters, in addition to helping a commitment towards urban farming and urban gardening in South Pittsburgh. And I'm excited for this. I'm happy you're doing it, and I look forward to seeing many more transfers like this in our district. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. ML, you covered a lot of ground, so I'll ask board members if there's questions or comments, either generally or on any of the specific of the 17 parcels that were before us to transfer to the land bank.
I have some comments, and I will do my best to be brief. Thank you, ML and the team, so much for bringing this to fruition. This is what the power of the land bank is, right? And this is why so many of us have been a champion for this program and this opportunity for so long, because it has the ability to make transformational and tangible change for our neighborhoods and for our neighbors. More important than anything, we're seeing for the first time so many of these lots that have laid bare for so long go back into usefulness and go back into the hands of folks that have been doing the work, that have been investing in their communities and their neighbors, and now have a piece of land that can help to elevate their offerings and elevate their gifts. And so ML, to the team, to all the folks that have been patient, the land bank to roll out and get to where we are now. I just want to kind of have folks remember this and hold on and capture this feeling as we continue to push forward and expand what the land bank can do for the city of Pittsburgh. So thank you all.
Thanks,
There's also a quick note to thank ML for laying this out as well as she did. But I also just want to take a moment to thank Lindsay. There are some watching who may not realize the role that she played early on in trying to get us to where we are today. So thank you.
Yeah, Lindsay, I was going to say you don't need to be brief. This has been an ongoing odyssey, but an odyssey nonetheless. And you've been instrumental, in your previous capacity with the city, and obviously as a board member. Certainly these past few months getting us to this point where we are. I know there's been a lot of discussion around it, and I think, ML, thank you again for walking us through it so clearly, and saying it, earlier, but it bears repeating, the types of projects that we're bringing forth, as Director Powell said, are those that are in line and advance the community's visions for what they want their neighborhoods to be. In many instances, these are properties in their neighborhoods that they've already been tending to or under lease with us. And, we're just giving them now the power of ownership related to that. And these are those small scale, neighborhood scale developments that, though smaller in, kind of, let's say, absolute size, are no less important for driving forward, change in our neighborhoods and positive change, more importantly, in our neighborhoods. So while, we've tried over the years to do it through the URA or through the city, there's different kind of trappings and shortcomings in each of our processes. And yeah, the power or the promise of the land bank has been to fill, that middle ground. And I'm excited that we're, have this before us today to transfer these 17 properties and can begin to illustrate, really what the promise and the power of the land bank will be to help facilitate projects like this going forward. And, as you've done, and I presume as we plan and continue to do, at least so long, as I happen to have the pleasure of being in this chair, and I'm sure my fellow board members, in a transparent manner, at least from our side of things, as we've done. And I know that's the staff's commitment as well. So can't thank you enough. Can't thank the real estate team enough, the team at the land bank, and Sally and Emily, really for the work that you've done over the years, and certainly in these last few months to really get us to this point. So I don't know if there's any other questions or comments from board members, but if there aren't, and ML, you came off mute, so if you had something else you wanted to add, I do want to give you an opportunity.
No, nothing. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If nothing else, then I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. I feel like we need confetti now, but we're virtual, so. Anyhow, moving on, the next item before us are Avenues of Hope American Rescue Plan Act Grant Program Awards. I believe these are from the second round. Joining us for this will be Talia O'Brien.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Talia O'Brien, and I am a Neighborhood Business District Program Analyst at the URA's Development Services Department. I'd like to start off by thanking the board for the opportunity to present today the Avenues of Hope American Rescue Plan Act Grant Program Round 2 Awards. At the June 2023 URA board meeting, 21 organizations and businesses were awarded through the first funding round. Round 2 of the grant program came to a close on July 31st with 39 total applications received. Over the month of August, we conducted an extensive review of all of the applications received that consisted of community input and cross-departmental collaboration with internal and city departments. This brings me here today to request authorization to enter into grant agreements with the following 15 organizations in a cumulative not to exceed amount of $1,215,295. With the first Avenues of Hope corridor that we're going to look at is East Warrington Avenue and Brownsville Road, awarding Onion Maiden LLC, Hilltop Alliance, Abiding Missions, and 66 Details LLC. Next slide. South Perrysville Avenue, we have Wilson's Barbecue and Urban Impact Foundation. Center Avenue, we are requesting awards for Salem's Market, Center Avenue LLC, Butch's Styles and Cuts, and Salon Exo Spa and Wellness Center. Second Avenue, we have Equity One Stop Shop from Porlock and Hazelwood Cafe. Larmer Avenue, Ascender to provide technical assistance to entrepreneurs within the Larmer and Homewood corridor. Homewood Avenue, again, we have Ascender to provide the technical assistance services, as well as Bible Center Church, the Oasis Project. Chartiers Avenue, we have Out of the End Inc. and Lydia's Coffee House LLC. This slide here, you can see this pending board approval of the following awards that were just recited. This chart will reflect the remaining funds available in each corridor for round 3, with Center Avenue being completely depleted. The round 3 application period is currently open and the deadline has been extended to Friday, October 13th, 2023. I do want to state that the information that was presented today is different than what is currently reflected in the draft resolution text, and I believe the chairman is prepared to ask for the proper amendments to the resolution. Thank you again for your time this afternoon, and at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Talia, thank you. Before we get into questions, I do want to then amend the resolutions before us, just for the record. So I'll ask for a motion to authorize entering into Avenues of Hope Rescue Plan Act agreements and related contracts with the 15 organizations in a cumulative not to exceed amount of $1,215,295, and amend the draft resolution for item 6B on page 21 of our agenda to reflect the proper amounts for the following 3 awardees. That's $87,500 for Abiding Missions, $10,394 for Hazelwood Cafe, and $133,334 for the Senator. Have a motion to amend.
So move.
Second. Okay. Then voting to amend the bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, the motion, or excuse me, the authorization is amended, or the item's amended, so we can go into any questions or comments that folks may have. Councilmember Warwick, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Sorry, I'll be done after this one.
It's okay.
So I just wanted to jump in because I did hear during the public comment earlier from Pastor Love. So I just wanted to say, just for anyone who's listening, first of all, I really appreciate all the work that is going in to allocating this. It's so many organizations. It's so many difficult details with the ARPA requirements, which just sort of seem like a moving target all the time. And I know that it's a new and somewhat tricky process working between also city legal, et cetera. So I just want to let folks know that when it comes to kind of working out how to make this process as easy as possible and as clear as possible for everyone involved. I know that everyone is working hard on doing that, and I'm also ready and able to help make that happen for everyone involved, so that we can make sure that each avenue of hope, I'm obviously looking at Second Avenue in particular, that's in my district, but that each avenue of hope, that the folks who are applying for the right things, and that they're getting the money, and we're using all the, nobody's leaving any money on the table, and that we can get all these projects funded to the fullest and really take advantage of this huge windfall of ARPA money. So thank you so much to the team, and I look forward over the next few weeks to sort of talking further.
Thank you, Councilmember. Appreciate you being so engaged, both on this in our meeting specifically today, but always being an advocate for your district, and really sincerely appreciate that. So thank you. Any questions or comments from the board for Talia or the team on these? You similarly covered quite a bit of ground, so thank you for doing that.
Motion to approve.
But before we go on that, I did want to just take a minute to echo Councilmember Warwick's commendation of the work that the team's done on this. They are incredibly time intensive, to shepherd all the applicants, all the committees that we have for this, and then taking the time to incorporate the feedback that we're receiving, so that as we roll out each round, we're getting better. So do want to acknowledge the work of the team, and Talia, you in particular, because I know this is a labor of love for you, and we appreciate it and acknowledge that work and that effort. So thank you so much for bringing those forward to us today. So
Thank you.
we have a motion. Yeah, we have a motion to approve on the table. May we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you again. Our next item, or last item on the regular agenda, is actually the Neighborhood Initiatives Fund 2023 awards. And Jamie Piotrowski is joining us again for this one. So Jamie, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon again, everybody. Jamie Piotrowski, Neighborhood Business District Program Analyst. I'm here to announce the awards for our 2023 round of the Neighborhood Initiatives Fund. So this round, we received 32 applications with just over $2 million in funds requested. And with our increased budget this year of $1.05 million, we were able to award 19 projects, which I'm very excited about, across 16 different neighborhoods in the city of Pittsburgh. And so this slide just shows the groups that we were able to award. So going through them, the Squirrel Hill Urban Coalition, Bloomfield Development Corporation, Upstream PGH, Lawrenceville Corporation, Mount Washington Community Development Corporation, the Open Door, Moana-Kuche Farm Incorporated, Malta Foundation for the Arts, Troy Hill Citizens Council, Troy Hill Citizens Incorporated, Uptown Partners of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Musical Theater, Pittsburgh Struggling Student Association, the Reformed Presbyterian Home, Jubilee Soup Kitchen, Hill Dance Academy Theater, Hill Dance Community Theater, excuse me, the Pittsburgh Opera House, CASGED, which is the Community Association of Spring Garden and East Deutschtown, Perry Hilltop Citizens Council, and the Hill Community Development Corporation. Next slide, please. Or, well, I suppose I could answer any questions about the projects before moving forward.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you. So since the program's inception in 2019, so far we have awarded $2 million in funding, not including this round, advancing 37 projects across 26 neighborhoods in the city of Pittsburgh since 2019. So I'm very delighted that we were able to do, or will be able to do, so much work pending this board approval. Now I can take any questions, please.
Thanks, Jamie. Any questions or comments from board members?
I know this too is a really labor intensive project. And I was going to say maybe towards the end, but between AOH funding, land bank funding, and NIF funding, I know these are really big projects. So Jamie, thank you so much to you and your team for getting this out the door. Looking at the projects as well, I'm really proud to see that we have a lot of new neighborhoods represented. In past years, there have been some frustrations from different community spaces to get the dollars deployed to their neighborhoods, particularly in the West End, particularly in the North Side. And so it's really lovely to see that those two particular spaces are well represented today. So thanks again.
Thank you. Yeah, we've done a lot of outreach on our team of 3. So I would be remiss if I didn't thank also Josette Fitzgibbons and Talia as well for helping with outreach so that we can do the work that we're doing across the city.
I would just echo, I think Director Powell said it well, both in the nature of the projects and, just like as with the AOH grants, know that these are time intensive, both in review and in working with the groups to get it through. So again, Jamie, you've been a champion on this, so thank you for your efforts on this as well as the rest of the team.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions or comments from board members, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Great, the motion carries. Thanks again, Jamie.
Thank you.
Moving into the disclosure agenda, I know we have a walk-on item for this one. I'm going to turn it over to Director Namani Stanger to add that.
Yes, thank you. I will read this disclosure item into the record for your consideration. Authorization to approve Tishera Combs, a City of Pittsburgh Public Works employee, to receive a deferred loan of up to $7,500 for down payment and closing cost assistance, subject to underwriting and approval by URA staff.
Thanks, Director. I guess in addition to the walk-on item, entertain a motion to approve that and the disclosure agenda in its entirety.
So move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Then the motion carries. Thank you all for joining us this month. I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a second. And we are adjourned. We will see you all in October, and thank you again for joining us today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.